journey of trying to better understand yourself, better understand what's triggering you, and make very intentional choices about how you want to respond to those triggers and how you want to maybe diffuse them as you can over time with a lot of intentionality, a lot of deep work. So as you're going through that process, there are going to be moments where you come across something someone says to you, something someone does, and it triggers you. It invokes a strong emotional response. Shame, anger, fear, anxiety. You may even feel changes in your body, your vital signs. You might feel sick to your stomach. You might feel your heart race. You might feel nauseated. You may feel lightheaded or get a headache even. Sometimes when we're really triggered, our vital signs can change so rapidly that we can even get a splitting headache. So if you are finding yourself in a situation where you are getting these triggered thoughts or these triggered vital sign changes, that's kind of like going over the beach with a metal detector and you're just cruising, no response, and then whoop, we're on to something. Do not kick sand over that spot. Do not do it. We did that for a long time. It didn't get us anywhere. That's the spot. That's it. Where you are feeling those feelings of distress, where you are feeling discomfort, where you are feeling a change in your body, where your thoughts are reverting back to old habitual thought processes that are not serving you, that may be limiting, that are not in line with your beliefs and your values. Woo! That is your metal detector. That is your emotional detector saying, okay, we found it. This is an important spot. We need to dig here. We need to evaluate. We need to get to the bottom of this. Because until we do, every time we go back over this spot, woo, it's going to go again. Every time. Sure, we can ignore it. We've done that before. We know how to do that. We'll just ignore it. Woo, there we go again. Sorry to be so annoying with the wooing, but that's how it's going to be emotionally. And our nervous system is going to go wild, and we're going to feel awful, and we're going to struggle, and we will be unhappy, and it will set us back, and we will just keep reverting back to the person and the set of responses, reactions that we have when we are in that distressed state. If we try to cover it over, cover it with sand, walk away from it, ignore it, pretend it didn't happen. We can do that. That's a choice. But if we want to choose to heal, if we want to choose to feel differently when we're triggered, if we want to be able to walk into that room where something really difficult happened with us, we got to be willing to sit in that discomfort that we feel when we go there and really think about it, examine it, contemplate over it, work on healing, work on processing. Because if we don't, we're just going to be stuck in that same level of dysregulation and discomfort every time we come across that stimulus. Now, when something's really fresh, sometimes we can't touch it yet. We just got to stay away from it, right? There are times on this journey where you can't go near something, and having the wisdom, the understanding that you need to give space between you and that stimulus, that's really important. That's good. If that's what you need, that's good. But there's going to come a time where we have to face it. We have to do the work. Because if we don't, it's never going to get any better. We're never going to feel any better. We're never going to do any better. So there comes a time when we really need to respond to that signal with introspection, patience, grace, and above all, curiosity and willingness to do the deep dive, the difficult work, and really understand ourselves, because the answers are here. That stimulus is outside of you, which means it can invoke a response from you, but it is not you. The response is coming from you. It is coming from you. If you don't like the response, if the response is making you distressed or uncomfortable, if your heart racing, having sweaty palms and shaking and feeling unsafe, even though you are outside of a situation that is actually putting you in physical risk at that moment. So if you have separated yourself from the risk and you are still being triggered, that's okay. But if we want it to change, we've got to do some work there. We've got to face it, and we need to address it, and we need to work on how to regulate our nervous system ourselves, because that response, the nervous system response, does not belong to the stimulus. It belongs to us, and therefore we have control over it. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing, because so much in life we do not have control over. So much in life we have no control over, but we do control ourselves. We do control ourselves. You are in control over you. So do the work when you're ready. Take small steps every day to get there. And when you're ready, you're going to come to a time where you're not going to have that same exaggerated response to that stimulus. It's going to lessen over time if you do the work. It will, I promise. But you've got to do it. It's not going to get any better without you acknowledging it, naming it, claiming it as your own, and then working on the reframing process so that we can try to reframe the things that are challenges for us, take them and reframe them so that we can try to find the gifts that they gave us. Because almost nothing in life is without a gift. Almost nothing. Even the really difficult stuff gives us things that we can learn from, things that we can teach others, things that will help us moving forward so that we can make better choices for ourselves in the future. Let's start on that process. Give yourself grace. Some days you can do the work. Some days you're going to backslide. That's okay too. The only thing that's really not okay is not trying. So we're going to try, and we're going to work on it together. Okay? Take care.